If you're a parent and an entrepreneur, life can be quite the juggling act, especially when the kids are off for the summer. Sarah Needleman is here to tell us how some people can navigate those difficult balancing acts of life, especially with kids at home. Thanks for joining us, Sarah.
It's my pleasure.
And a lot of people know that if you are an entrepreneur, your business is somewhat all-consuming of your life. You never really have that punch in and punch out time. So it can be difficult for people who are parents.
Especially if you're starting the business, because in those first 6 months to a year, you're really entrenched, you're building momentum as you go, and you can't just stop. You can't take 2 weeks off vacation. It's not like you're turning into your employer and you just come back and everything's great. You have to keep going. So the summer comes, kids are home, and you can't necessarily be there for them as much as you'd like to. And for a lot of parents, they end up feeling guilty. And they're also maybe not cleaning their house as much, and they're comparing themselves to their neighbors. And the best advice really is to not do that. To realize that this is temporary. Eventually, your business will grow and you'll be able to manage your time more effectively. But in the beginning, you really have to focus on building it. And you can't necessarily be there as much as you might like to with your kids. You also may have to lay down some tough rules about quiet time, especially if you're building the business from home, or work out your schedules. You may not be there to pick them up at certain times, and it can be real tough. But you can't.
Organization and communication seem to really go a long way in the situation. And there are instances where people can somewhat incorporate their kids into the business in a way that they can learn a lot.
Well, you're giving your children an education in economics, essentially, and you have to look at it from that perspective. They may be curious about what you're doing, so take advantage of it and give them a little bit of lessons on maybe what it means net versus gross income. You might let them ask questions, and you might ask for their feedback. What do you think of my company website? What do you think of my marketing materials? Because this gives them a window into the business world, makes them feel like adults, and it incorporates them, and it's a way to bond.
But it's also safe to say that the parents should really be aware of carving out time when they do put the entrepreneur hat down and put the parent hat really on and put down the Blackberries, don't take the meetings. What should they be doing? What's the best advice for a parent?
The best advice is to really be there full on when you're there. Like you said, don't start text messaging, reading emails, replying to them unless it's urgent. When you're setting aside time for your kids, really truly be there. Listen to them and make them feel like it counts, because you don't have as much time. So really make it worthwhile.